So apparently, friends, not only am I a mood reader, but apparently I am a seasonal mood reader, as this video review is going to reflect today. Happy Friday, my friends! I'm so very excited that you're here. I can't believe that October is almost over, and with Halloween coming up, I was like, you know what, we have time, like in this last week of October, to squeeze in one non-spooky, I was gonna say spooky read, but that like contradicts itself, so just a non-spooky read, but fits those Halloween October vibes. And I'm really excited that I felt in the mood to read this series because it was perfect. It was the perfect time to read this, and I'm so glad that I waited, despite that I actually read volume 1, I believe it was in March, and I originally read it because, let me stop. Let me slow down for a second. Let me tell you what the series is first before I go into my rambles, and that is Beasts of Abigail. This is a 4-volume series, and it is so very good. Absolutely loved it. Very, very good. So what I was trying to originally say, wait, let's look at all these very pretty covers because they are just gorgeous. I love the covers in this series very, very much. They're just very, very pretty. But as I was saying before I got, well, when I was getting overly excited, is that volume 1 I actually read, back in March, and a huge thank you to Beneath the Tangles. They are a Christian website that I blog for, and I originally read it because they sent me a copy of volume 1 because that was around the time that we had kicked off the video series, The ABCs of Shoujo Manga, and I'll leave a link to the letter B, which this video was featured in, or this manga was featured in. I know that's a really long time. Like, I read volume 1 that same day it arrived because, oh my goodness, I have been really wanting to read this series for such a long time. Oh my goodness, it was so amazing. I read the series in 2 days, which probably isn't very surprising, but it is such, as I say, bingeable series. I think a bingeable series would be correct in saying that, but in case if you're not familiar with this series, it is about our main girl here. Her name is Nina, and she is a human, though she doesn't look human on this, on any of these covers. She doesn't look human. Yep, she's got her wolf ears. But yeah, so what I was saying is that she is a human, and she ends up moving to this country where her uncle lives. It's called Ruberia, I think is how you say it. It seems very much more like a fairy tale than an actual country because the country's very wealthy, and there's like tons and tons of roses, and I wore my rose earrings today because I'm a nerd. But yeah, she moves here from Japan. She's hoping to get a new start across from where her, not sure if it's where her uncle lives, but she can see it from his house, is this place that holds beasts. That is sort of the thing that she hears, and out of a like crazy series of events, she actually gets bit by this Luga. She gets bit by this guy right here, and a Luga is sort of like a werewolf, not quite, but they have wolf-like qualities and features. Like they have enhanced smell, they have a tail, they have the ears, and a few other things. But she gets bit by a Luga, and she ends up turning into one, and gets taken to this place, this academy, where she is stuck. And basically now that she's at this academy, she is being taught, instructed by these human instructors. Their goal, their aim is to make all of the Luga serve the humans. And she knows that this is wrong, and she's like, I need to get out. This is not where I belong. She's very terrified to be here, but she makes a few friends, a whole bunch of enemies, and probably, as these covers reflect, because we have 2 different guys, a love triangle. Sort of, I think. Yeah, we could talk about that later. Oh my goodness, though. But that is in a nutshell, that is what this series is about, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I read volume 1 twice at this point because after I read in March, well, I was like, so many months have passed. I was like, I need to reread it again. It was just as good as the first time, and this series just kept me on edge. I really love Nina as a character. She is so wonderful. Like, she is the perfect shoujo heroine in my opinion because she just has those admirable qualities. She has a very strong sense of justice. And I mean, she was already cool when we first meet her because she knows karate, and she's like, even though I'm here hoping for a new life because there was some bullying going on, she is like, I hope things can get a little rough so I can use my karate skills. And her uncle's like, please no. Please no. But yeah, she has this very strong sense of justice, and so that's what I was saying. I forgot I was going with that, but she was really cool when we first meet her, and her love of karate and everything like that, and how she can just kick butt. But once she gets this academy, and the first scene we see there with her, my liking level of her just skyrocketed. That strong sense of justice really kicks in, and she's very compassionate. She's very passionate. She has a strong caring heart, even though she is like totally afraid when she gets to this academy and she doesn't even really like the Lugas. And I can't say I don't blame her because of how she's treated, especially by our guy Roy here. I would be totally terrified, and plus there's some other things that are going on that she has to keep her identity a secret because she could definitely die. Like, the Lugas hate humans, the humans hate Lugas, but through a turn of events, especially in the second volume here, she meets a Luga who really transforms her whole view of Lugas in general, and just her stay here at Abigail. It doesn't mean it's any easier, for sure. And there's another character too, hopefully I won't forget. But when she meets this young man, it just changes everything. And she sees that these Lugas, she knows that they're being treated unfairly, but I think when she has this situation, or as I say scenario, but yeah, when she's in this situation with this Luga, she really sees the beauty that's in these Lugas' hearts, and that they're not all that different from humans. It is just the beginning of this transforming journey, not necessarily for Nina herself, but definitely for every single Luga that is around her. I really, really loved it. I love how she is so hopeful and how she just is so caring, literally, for everybody around her. She rushes head into things, and sometimes maybe it seems like she doesn't make the best decisions because situations unfold in really bad ways, and there's more than one occasion where her life is on the line. Like, there was one scene that I was like, please tell me Nina is not about to die. Like, I was that, like, terrified or afraid for our main girl here, because I'm like, she's the heroine, she cannot die. So there's plenty of times where she puts herself in danger to protect somebody or to show another Luga like, hey, not all humans are evil, not all humans are like these instructors, that there really is good humans out there who want to be friends with you, who want to care for you, and who do love you. Mainly talking about Nina. And oh, it was so very good. I love just truly through every single volume, we just see that shine. We see her love and how she has really just brought hope to this academy and helped them to see like they don't have to live literally in what is this prison, that there is a way for them to chase their dreams and fulfill their dreams and to be true to who they are. It is such a good message. It's very, very good stuff. Very, very good. Another character that she actually meets is Gillis, and I think that's how you say his name. She meets Gillis very early on, and oh my goodness, he is the perfect shoujo hero. He's got all those vibes. He is so pretty on page. His eyes, like everything about him, is just his general aura is absolutely beautiful. Yes, right here, right here. Look at him. Look at him. He is so kind. He's so very caring. He looks out for our main girl, and I was feeling all of the things because, like I mentioned, this is a low-key love triangle. Not sure if low-key would be the right way to, if I should use that, because Roy is the other love interest, and oh my goodness. To quote another character, I felt Roy was very much a scumbag for most of this series, but hoorah to the manga because she definitely changed my mind. Roy makes some actions. Like, if any character in this series that has the most transforming growth, it is Roy. I never ever expected I would even remotely like Roy by the end of the series, but I actually did, and I wasn't angry or upset about different things that happen, especially when it involves Nina, because when he does things like in the first 2 volumes, it made me so angry. And I guess I will just say right here, I'll do a mini spoiler alert. Yeah, mini spoiler alert sounds good. That he basically does assault Nina on 2 different occasions. One of them is worse than the other. I guess you could say nothing necessarily sexual happened, but it was enough where I'm like, dude, you just assaulted her. I don't care if you're a Luga and you basically are like a werewolf and you're marking your territory. Hoorah to Nina, because she's like, I am not your territory. I'm like, girl, I know that's right. That was really, really good. Spoiler over there. I did not like Roy because of that. I did not approve of his actions, and even though I really loved the first 2 volumes, I did give the second volume 4 stars because it really irritated me. I was like, I don't want Roy to think this is okay. Nina makes it known that this is not okay. Like, there's never a point where Nina's like, well, yeah, there was... It's complicated. She doesn't say that it's okay, and she does fight back, and she makes it known that she is not going to let him control her or manipulate her simply because he has marked her as his. So much complicated things, but the ending of his story was very, very good because when I was reading the first 2 volumes and I saw he was on cover 4, and I was just like, or volume 4, I was like, no. I was like, I don't want to see any more of this guy. I don't care about this guy. Just get him off the page. But his transforming journey is very, very good. Like, his growth as a character, was just so amazing. Like I said, I never thought that by the end of this series that I would actually genuinely come to like his character and see what he would do. I never expected that. But Gilius, he is the complete opposite of Roy, and he just, like I said, has all of those perfect shoujo hero vibes. Really loved his character. I was actually surprised with things that happen later on with his character because he also has some character growth as well. That's very powerful, and his story was just, I'm not going to say much about it because I don't want to accidentally say spoilers, but it was wow. It was wow. Like, this is, yes, a fluffy shoujo manga, but it definitely, this series gradually gets darker in some of the elements as the series goes on, and I never expected that direction. In fact, when this series ended, because I read it earlier today, and I was super emotional, like I had to fan my eyes so I wouldn't start crying, like I could feel those tears coming on. I was like, I didn't expect this for the series of the ending. Now, it was a hopeful ending. It was a very good ending. I do feel, maybe not that this series was rushed, but man, I so desperately wanted more of these characters. I wanted to see characters from like earlier in the volume and just have been prevalent through the whole series. It was a little bit bummed that we didn't get that, but the manga does mention that that it was really hard for her as a writer and artist not to include the full, maybe not the full story, I forget how she worded it, but she makes a note about that. And I thought it cool that when I was reading Goodreads review, we all were sort of saying the same thing, that we wish that she had the opportunity to go longer. She's like, there was so much I wanted to draw, more things that I needed to draw, but I couldn't get them all down this limited number of pages. That was the most painful process of my life as a manga artist. My heart went out to the manga artist because I think, like she says later on, that she really has a heart for this story and how much it means to her. And I feel like just because of the hopefulness in this story and the character growth and the transforming journey, that it was just so beautiful. Like I would have loved to see more, but it was a very good ending. At least I don't feel like it was rushed per se, but I definitely very much really wanted more of what was happening. Now, those three characters, well, as I say, Maya's Roy, were really amazing. We went on quite the journey, but I will say, outside of Nina, my favorite character in this series, oh my goodness, I love him so very much, and that is Dario. Oh, I love his character. He just speaks wisdom into Nina's life, and I really loved how he just supports her. He may give her a hard time, and he may be like, you are a foolish girl, but he is always there for her, and he's so very supportive, and just the things that he personally does, his actions, and how it pushes Nina forward is so beautiful. I love him so very much as a character. Like, he is just absolutely amazing, and I just really loved him in this series. It was funny because when I was writing my Goodreads review, or my reviews on Goodreads of the series, I like gushed in my review on volume 1 and volume 2 and then volume 3 and 4. I'm like, he's just amazing. Like, it's hard to capture the different elements of him, and just seeing, I guess, I don't feel like he disliked Nina in the beginning, but really how their first meeting was and how they just grow in the first volume and like their friendship and to the end. It was just beautiful. I really loved it. I just love seeing how he really cared for her, and when he finds out different things about her, he's like, she's the most fabulous woman I've ever met. It doesn't matter anymore. And I'm just like, yes, he is so great. Like I said, he speaks just different things to Nina where he's like, you just don't get it, girl. But let me tell you anyway, he cares for her so very much. It's so very obvious through this whole series. Again, he was my favorite. I really love his character. He was great. He was great. I know that doesn't give a lot about him, but he is just such a light himself in this series, and very much loved every single time he was on page. I loved how he was doing ridiculous things because Nina, like I said, she just jumps into these situations. Dario is there not to come rescue her, but he's like, I'm gonna come help you clean up this mess or help you in this mess that you're in, because he genuinely cares for her. He is such a great character. And there is another character, oh my goodness, my heart broke for him. I loved his character. He is such a sweet little being. You will know once you meet him. He is the cause or the root, and I mean that in a positive way, of Nina's change in this series. He's the callus. There we go. He's the callus of change for her life, and I loved him for it. There is a character, I won't say her name, but she was very interesting because I had so many mixed feelings around her, and she has another pivotal moment with Nina where you see Nina's compassion and how she is just willing to do anything to help these Luga to really experience freedom, to find healing from the tragedy that has befallen their species, their race, and their kind, because it is heartbreaking when you see and you get different backstories about certain Luga and as well as like the Luga race as a whole. Oh, it was so, it was really heartbreaking. It was really heartbreaking. And Nina is just the beautiful voice that just speaks hope and light into these characters. And I really just love how, especially that young woman, how she changes because of Nina's touch on her life. Again, the ending was so surprising. It was so surprising. I never expected to get as emotional as I did. But this series just really blew me out the water. I was hoping that I would love it. I really did, but I didn't expect to absolutely love it. And it's really nice to have some werewolf representation, even though these aren't werewolves, they're Lugas. I feel like vampires really take over in shoujo manga, so it was nice to have something different. Not that I have anything against vampires, but I'm definitely team werewolf, hands down. So that was one thing that I really liked about the series. And I forgot to mention, the world building is very, very good. I love learning more about this academy, how things work. It really adds to it, including like things when you find out about their, here we go, I was looking for it, about their collars that they have on and what they do. It is just a very wonderful series. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for something that, yes, has some love triangle, but not too much. It's not overwhelming, and the romance is not a pivotal part of the storyline, and a heroine that is not a damsel in distress can go kick butt. And also, probably the biggest thing, if you're looking for a shoujo manga that it's not too dark, but it has some of those dark elements that add maybe what you might feel is more depth to the series, because it's not just focused on the romance. Granted, you guys know I love my romance very, very much, so I'm not calling other shoujo manga shallow or anything, but I do feel like that this shoujo manga hits differently, and I really appreciate that, even though I was definitely emotional at the end. But what about you, friends? Have you guys read this series? What did you think? Did you enjoy it? I know a few friends who have read it and really loved it, and it makes me so happy to join the fan club for this series and how great it is. Have you read her other series, Kaiju Girl Criminalized? And if you haven't read either of these, what are some non-spooky reads that you have read that you would recommend to read in October, even though I know October is almost over? I would love to hear from you, friends, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!